In this video, we're going to look at managing campaign model variations with versioning. An esoteric function of the campaign builder is the ability to save different campaign model configurations. This can be helpful when reusing common elements of a campaign, but other elements change. For example, seasonal promotions or a product launch. It's also helpful when innovating and improving an existing model. It allows us to safely make changes to the model that can be rolled back if necessary. So in this video, we're going to look at creating a campaign version, and then we're going to look at using those versions to reuse models that we've used in the past. So in this example, we're going to show how a product that is only sold twice a year, during the winter and during the summer, can be easily updated for the season. So the campaign model we're going to start with looks like this, and we're going to be updating it for the winter season. So obviously this isn't totally published and fleshed out, but the concept still holds. So the idea is that somebody opts in for the summer tips, and there's something that is being sold related to a summer product. And of course, if they click to the cart, then there's an abandon. We try and recover that. We're going to go ahead and update this for winter tips. So first thing we're going to do is save a version. So under the Actions dropdown, we are going to save version. And you can see a new version has now been created that we can restore at any time. So now we're going to update the campaign model with the changes that we need. And you want to make sure to retain any sequence content that you might want to reuse in the future. So in this case, we definitely want to reuse the summer tips opt-in and series because that did really well this year. So we're going to go ahead and build out the summer tips. And then let's pretend that the winter is going to be a little more involved here. So let's pretend that we're going to have our winter tips opt-in. We'll have our normal winter tips that go out. But then if people never click through, we want to go ahead and have some date-based holiday sales. Right? So the idea is it's going to look something like this, where people opt in for the winter tips, and if they never click add to cart, then they're going to be taken to the date-based holiday sales, and the same idea, we want to follow up with them. So that's our modified version now. So of course in real life these two would be sitting down here published but unconnected, and these would need to be published, and of course we would have to update our link click goal. So let's pretending that we've published this. What we can do now is we can save another version. So now that we've finished the campaign and we've used it, let's pretend that it's the summer of next year. So when it's time for the summer season, we're going to go ahead and use this Actions drop-down again and go to Restore Version, and then we're going to restore the spring version that we did. So there you go, here's our model. It's as simple as reconfiguring our link click goals, possibly updating some of these emails, and republishing. And then, in the next winter season, we would go ahead and restore this particular version, which still has these in here. So basically, saving a campaign version takes a snapshot of the campaign model structure, including all the structures within a sequence. When we restore a campaign, it loads this structure as it was when the version was saved. Now there's a couple of things to be aware of. First of all, campaign versioning does not include the sequence step content. It only includes the sequence layout. So for example, if we make changes to an email's content and then restore the campaign to an older version, it'll restore the sequence layout, but it will still retain the current email, assuming that that same email object was in the older version. This is why it's recommended to disconnect but not delete any sequence content that we want to reuse. Cloning sequences can be very handy in these situations, so if you ever want to go ahead and clone stuff, you can highlight them and right-click and make a duplicate. Another thing to be aware of is that a campaign version is generated automatically whenever a campaign is published. We can tell which versions were automatically created because they're going to be accredited to the system instead of a particular user. So in this case, these are versions that were created by me, the user. anytime a campaign is published, you would see the publishing date, and then system would be associated with creating that version. There's a similar restore function available within an email step. So just like we can revert campaign content, we can also revert email content. So I've got this email open. And here's my email content. And then I decide to write more about it. Well, let's say that I don't like what I've written. Under the Actions dropdown, we've lost the ability to revert the changes. This means we need to edit out this section. In the next email, in the next video, we're going to look at adding groups of contacts to a campaign sequence.